Welcome, Joeyers, which I guess I'm going to call you now. You'll notice that there's no Shane, and I'm going to explain that right after the intro.
Mountain Bike Podcast, Mountain Biking Podcast, an MTB podcast about mountain biking. We talk about bikes, but in a way we don't. You never know it by a name. It's the Joey Podcast, now known as the Joey Mountain Bike Podcast for search engine optimization.
By the way, if you can hear a piano in the background, it's because I'm at home in the UK. I am in England. My mum is actually practicing the piano, so I've taken a few minutes from giving her a hard time about using a metronome to come up here and record this intro for the Joey podcast. Yeah, so let's do some of the... Wow, when it's just you, I have no one to fill in from where I'm messing up. But we're just going to carry on. Let's get some business out of the way. Yeah, where is Shane? No, Shane hasn't left the podcast or anything. But with me being back in the UK for the winter, I'm going to be here for like 3 months, I think. I figured it's just easier if we kind of do the same format, but our own podcasts. So Shane can go and find his guests and then make a podcast and then upload it. And then I can find my guests and make a podcast. So you're still going to have both of us, same format, same thing. But I guess we're just gonna go on our own for a bit. See how it goes. Let us know what you think. Comment on the YouTube video, and yeah, tell us what's going on. So today I have Mike Levy, who is one of the. I don't think he's not like a head writer or anything, but he's been doing bike reviews for no idea how long. He actually says in this podcast, I've just forgotten. But I used to work with him at Pinkbike. I worked with him for a long time. And we had a really good chat. Way better than me doing right now. So please keep listening. But first, we're going to do last week's comments.
It's last week's comments.
Okay, I'm going to fire through these comments. It wasn't last week. It was when we had Shane's wife, Daj, on. The lovely Daj. I believe they are on a family holiday in Moab. I'm very jealous. It's probably super warm there right now. And the UK, not only is it in lockdown, and I can't even go and play golf, but I am going riding on Saturday. Don't panic, everyone. Going riding on Saturday. So I've done my 2 weeks of quarantine, and I'm free. I did not catch COVID. According to my Whoop strap, my breathing stayed fine. So that's like one of the main indicators. If anyone's wondering, it's been proven to identify early signs of COVID, the old Whoop strap. All right, so... Flatwoods MTB. I think the Crashing Mum needs to be a regular. 'Twas a great fun listen. Yeah. Oh wow. There's no one to fill in when you got a burp or something. Crap. This is so hard. Daj was amazing. I knew she'd be amazing. She was natural. We actually had this group. Well, not group because they were just talking on the phone. But I called the both of them like ages ago. And then half an hour in, we were thinking, oh, we should have just recorded this phone conversation because it's probably a podcast. But no, hopefully Daj will come back. I hope that her and the fam are having a wonderful time in Moab. Workhorse MTB. I was going to create a Paul the Panther profile and just drive Paul crazy with it, but I have a life and don't have time to do that. Great work, Workhorse MTB. Yeah, if anyone's seen Bobo's video, his newest one, MTB NEWS. I'm a huge fan of those videos that he does about the fake news and everything. But someone has actually gone and created a Paul the Puffer one. You gotta go and watch the video. It's hilarious. Now I've started my golf channel. Bobo was like, well, where is it going to end? He's going to come out as being a secret weed smoker in a minute and call Paul the Puffer. He nailed it. He did a great job. Bobo's so funny. Everyone should be watching his videos. Matt Schneider, keep in mind, I will sometimes start watching your podcast and then finish listening to it in the car. I would think I am not the only one that does this. Yeah, maybe. I mean, we do videos as well, but I would really prefer the audio version to kind of take off and be where everyone listens, I think. But we should probably do more episodes. Hopefully that's going to happen. I swear we say this all the time. But we've done so many. Like, we really have done quite a lot at this point. Outdoor Gold. No longer called Outdoor Gold RC. Noted. Dash shines the star power in this pod. She sure does. She's hilarious. I mean, I know a lot of people say this. Oh, you should get your own YouTube channel. But Dash really should. She's so funny. Oh, we haven't even talked about Chip Drink. Shane's amazing video, Chip Drink. It stars the both of them. I might find it and put a link to this. Damn, Shane normally does the links. Wow, I'm falling apart without him already. Dad MTB. Oh, this is more news to the rents. So I am way late in the game commenting. My son and I listened to this on the 4-hour drive the other day. Words of encouragement to the crashing dad and crashing mum. Parenthood. It just keeps getting better and better. Drink every minute of it in. Tell Crasher mum she is awesome. Now, when I first read this comment, I thought it said drink every minute, which I think the other two, Shane and Daj, would probably agree. Yeah, just drink every minute. I mean, I don't know. I have zero responsibilities. And you know, I was meant to be going riding with my pal, who I haven't seen for over 2 years. We were meant to go riding on Saturday. I sent him a message saying, hey, weather's looking pretty good. He replies, pointing out that it was his anniversary, which he'd completely forgotten about in the most cliche way. And it was hilarious. So great work, Jack. And final comment, Karen Warren, please make MTB Alan a permanent part of the podcast. I would love to have Alan here all the time. I think he's great. I jumped in on one of his live streams the other day. And the day of the week at this point? Wow, 2 weeks has flown by here, I can tell you, Joey is. But no, we wanted to have guests now. We saw that guests were really how we're going to keep growing this podcast. I still think that the original formula of having Josh, me and Shane just come on every week was really taking off. And I always say this, that, you know, with my YouTube videos, I'll say to a lot of people, oh, you have to watch this certain video. But when it comes to the podcast, I can say, go listen to any episode of the podcast. All of them are great. It's just a shame that, you know, it's pretty hard. 3 people with different priorities in life. You know, it's hard to keep the old podcast going. But this chat I had with Mike was fantastic. We don't have any sponsors, so we're going to jump straight into the episode here. And we're going to transition Joe Rogan style from the fade in. So hope you enjoy this one. Are you thinking of a career change? Just give up bike reviews. Be a dog walker.
I love walking and I love dogs, so maybe. You never know.
Yeah, because you always have like these random hobbies and obsessions. I'd call it obsessions that you get into. And walking is one of those kind of recent ones, isn't it? I remember you sent me a text saying like, I just love walking now. I'm walking so much.
That sounds like something I would say. I don't think walking is an obsession. I mean, we all do it. We all
but
walk.
how much do you walk?
It depends on the weather. Less lately because I'm soft. Well, yesterday I walked from the Garibaldi PB office to home.
That's a long way. That took
like 2 hours.
Comfortable. Yeah, 2 hours instead of like a 10-minute car journey.
It's a nice morning walk, Paul.
You sound like someone when you question them about their drinking and they're like, no, I don't drink that much. Anything like 4 glasses every night or something.
Walking's healthier though. It's good for you. It's nice and slow and easy. You know what I like about walking is there's no gear involved, because when I go riding, there's obviously like, you know, tons of gear and bikes, and like I'm very appreciative of being able to grab all these bikes, but it's always a work ride. Like I'm always getting on a bike and riding a bike for work and thinking about something on the bike or whatever. But when I go walking, I don't have to put on any biking gear. I don't have to wear gloves. I usually don't wear a helmet when I go walking. It's great. Sometimes I should.
I just need enough cash to buy a Monster partway along at an appropriate gas station. Like, what more do you need? There it is. I think people... It's so funny, like, knowing you so well, but there are so many people that just know you as this, like, bike reviewer guy from Pinkbike, and it's, like, such a small... It's like the upper crust of Planet Mike.
That's all there is. That's it.
How many bikes do you have right now in your possession?
Well, we're just wrapping up the field test, so for the trail and enduro bikes. So we had 5 trail bikes, 5 enduro bikes. So right now we have 10 bikes here. plus
In your house.
plus a few stragglers. And every time we have to do something with the bikes, it involves moving 10 bikes around. It's kind of, it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
I'm so glad I missed that entire era.
They're all pretty fucking sweet though, Paul.
They're really good. I do really like the field tests. Is there one of the videos that you did that did way better than you thought it would?
I don't want to say I was surprised that the cross country field test did reasonably well or better than I thought, but it did. But then when you think about it, like everyone around the world rides cross country. Like we get into this like PB bubble where it's like 6-inch bikes or downhill bikes and knee pads, and like this is what everybody does. But in the rest of the world, people ride cross country bikes. So it sort of makes sense. So that was a fun one.
Did I ever tell you about the time? Well, my first time that I went to Roc d'Azur in the south of France.
No, you didn't. You probably should. Were you wearing a Danny's suit without a jersey on top and smoking a cigarette?
No, this was 2014. So I just started at Pinkbike. And then Carl was like, you should go to Roc d'Azur. And I was like, yeah, I'll just go wherever. Like, this sounds cool. Anyways, it was arguably, it was pretty boring when I was there. Yeah. I knew hardly anyone. I was just by myself in the south of France. Vegetarian. No, I wasn't vegetarian at that point. No,
are you still vegetarian, Paul?
Pescatarian. But I don't like to call it pescatarian. It's where you eat. It's where you add fish as well. Yeah. Because like I was getting, I couldn't keep up with that activity, especially like last year. The last 2 years, I had to add it in.
So what you're saying is that animals deserve to live and not be eaten, except fish.
Well, I have. It's better. It's environmental reasons. Staying vegetarian and eating fish in Vancouver, well, just outside Vancouver in Squamish, it's like the fish probably isn't traveling that far.
That's true.
But
sushi, I miss sushi so much.
Wait, you're vegetarian?
I've been for a while. Yeah.
Oh,
but now if I was pescatarian, then I could still eat the sushi. But
it's kind of a good balance. Still there's enough topic of fish farming to get into. That's not a bike podcast. But anyway, back to Roc d'Azur.
People are already mad. It's too late.
Yeah, literally. So there were 20,000 people competing in cross-country mountain biking.
Jesus.
20,000.
Yeah.
Like, there's go to enduro. Oh, it's got 150 people. Wow, that's loads. It's like, please, you don't even know. And
I think we get stuck in that little bubble, right? And we live here in southwestern BC. It's pretty special. And here, 6-inch bikes make a lot of sense, but yeah.
I don't think so. I think the 150 is the dream right now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Same thing.
Like 10 millimeters
in that area of travel.
Yeah.
If you live in Squamish, if you live in this sort of like southwestern BC, it's gnarly here. I try to ride those short travel bikes here. I just get owned. I get scorpioned every other ride.
But you exclusively ride them. Like that cross country one. Like I love the way you didn't you save the bull ride that's in the intro of the videos until like the last review or something?
That was the transition spur, yeah.
Oh yeah. Which you clearly liked way more than everything else. Also
for going down.
No, yeah, for mountain biking, as you would always
for mountain biking, yeah.
But like, because I remember in the climb, didn't you give the transition another go, and you'd never given another bike another go?
In the impossible climb?
Yeah.
No, they all got the same goes.
I swear there was one where you were like, "I'm gonna have another go," and then you started to have other goes on the other one.
It might have looked like that, but they all get either like 2 or 3 tries or whatever it is, depending on they all get the same amount of tries depending on the course. Like that cross country one was way harder than it looked, and I think I tried all the bikes 3 times there. People don't understand how hard that is. Like it looks like
it's not as steep. It doesn't look as steep as it is on camera.
Yeah,
it works for going uphill as well. Like remember that when we went for that ride in Valleycliff and there was that rock, and you were like, "Can you film this? But also, can you set it up and catch me if I fall?"
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's fun. I like that.
And then you looked at the video and you were like, "Oh, it doesn't look anything like it does in real life."
Yeah, it's a shame how that works, and we do so much video stuff and then I watch it back and I'm like, oh man, that doesn't look
Yeah.
difficult, but I swear it is, everybody.
Think how I feel. Like I've even had I did a video where I went and rode Champery last year.
Yeah.
One of the steepest tracks in the world. People are like,
yeah.
it doesn't even look that hard. Get off the brakes.
Paul, it's different because your channel is called Paul the Punter, and you're sort of embracing that like experience of learning and I don't want to say struggling, but like, learning and trying new things and stuff like that, where you don't, I don't know, read a car magazine and expect the guy to be learning how to do something like while he's doing something else, So I feel like people expect us to kill it in these videos and be like, world-class pros.
Have you read any of the comments? Have you ever read any of the comments?
I've never read a single comment on Pinkbike.
Yo, shut up. No, on the videos.
Yeah. So the way that it works,
there must be some about the talk about your riding, even though you're a very, very good mountain biker, Mike.
Oh, thanks,
it's
Paul.
just that you don't look it, and we can both agree on that.
The problem is I've been mountain biking for 25 years. I'm from like the early 2000s, late 90s, where you just like get off the ground a bit, turn your handlebar a bit. Like, what else do you have to do? That's all you need to do, everybody. And now all of a sudden you got to do all this other stuff. But for comments, the way that it works for comments is that we're responsible. So if like a video goes up that I made or that I'm part of, I would generally be responsible for the comment section. So I would be in there answering comments. And usually I do, but I'll be honest, near the end of the field test series, we've done field test is how many videos? It's a lot of videos. And you get to the end of the videos, you're like, I'm tired of reading. I'm tired of reading about how shitty I am.
Is there one, but like normally on those comments, it's normally the ones that the hardest ones to read. And this has been said a whole bunch on the internet. The hardest ones to read are the ones that you agree with. Do you know what I mean? When they say like, "Oh, you do this," and I'm like, oh, "Yeah, I do that." Shut up!
Like a word that you say all the time or something, right?
Yeah, or like you have a tick or like that kind of thing.
Oh, I have lots of ticks. All joking aside, the commenters are generally extremely nice. Like if something has, say, a field test review has 300 comments, 295 of them are going to be reasonable comments. They don't need to be positive. I don't care if they're positive. It doesn't matter. I just want them to be constructive or contributing in some way instead of just I
want them to be. It's
like, this is stupid. Well, that's a shit comment, and I want to ban you with the ban hammer. But if you say, this is stupid because of this, and this is what you should have done, well, that makes more sense. So it's not that they are negative or positive. It's just I want them to be constructive, Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always dream about that, but like,
I just did on your YouTube comments, Paul.
Not really. I know, like most of it comes from a place of them just wanting to help. And I always know that. And if someone says something negative, like it's not what I'm doing in the video.
No, they had a bad day.
Yeah, they had a bad
day. Their
day.
wife or their husband is angry at them about something, or they're upset about something, and their
boss gave them a shit task to do at work or something like that, and they've come
maybe
home.
They got another flat on their last ride.
Yeah, and it's like, here I am. Oh, hey everyone. Oh, mountain biking. Oh, it's so great, isn't it? Yeah, and like that's probably why. But I'm changing. I'm changing what my channel is about now.
What do you mean?
Because I've kind of got when my camera got nicked, I kind of got over it, to be honest. Yeah, in the sense of like there was, I think it was maybe one ride, and I was just like, I just can't be bothered trying to push myself and get better at this point.
So I'm going to interrupt you right there, Paul. This is something that I wanted to ask you about. You go on a bike ride. So when you're in the thick of making punter videos, let's say you go on 7 bike rides in a week. How many of those bike rides are for work?
I like 1.
Oh, really?
1 or 2 nowadays.
Okay, so
that was before. That was before, right? But now it's like I've only been riding. Like I'll go out with Chris and we'll film for 9 hours. Yeah. And then it's like, great. It's like, and then you look through the footage and you're like, oh, great, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, maybe that's
there is
why
a
I've kind of
balance
got better
there,
with mountain biking lately. But yeah, oh, for sure, there's a balance. But my balance with that is playing golf now.
Yeah,
That's
you're loving that.
That's how it's gone. Oh, mate, I love it so much. The Masters was just on, and it's just like only some golf tournaments. I don't watch them all, but that one is like, it's I don't think there's much else like it in sport. Like, it was probably, I don't even know, like a good world champs, even if like the top 10 of the racing beat the time before. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that makes it a good race is when
my dog
start
Tiger win.
Time.
Did Tiger win?
No, but get this right. And this is why he's been like my lifelong hero, is because, yeah, he's fucked up in his personal life, but don't shake your head. Huge. And then he is like, but still, he came out and he admitted that he was wrong. And he's like, yeah, this is all me. He never blamed anyone else. He's like, this was my fault. And that's how he was always like when you're watching a golf tournament. And they're like, so he, on a par 3, you're meant to get it in 3 shots, right?
Or less.
Yeah, 3 shots or less is like,
that's how golf works. I feel.
Yeah. And he got a 10. It was the highest score on a golf hole he had ever had in his professional career.
Oh, right? Tiger, get your shit together.
I know. But listen, the following 6 holes, he birdied 5 of the next 6.
I have no idea what that means.
That's where you get 1 under par.
Oh, okay.
So 1 better. Yeah. And that's insane. Like, to get the worst you've ever been and then to get like better than everyone else, like immediately afterwards. Like, I don't have that kind of mental strength. How'd you get that kind of mental strength? That's crazy.
I don't know. I'm weak. I don't know.
I'd go home. Yeah, me too. I'd give up. I'd throw my clubs.
Didn't he win last year?
He won it last year, yeah. Which is
after not golfing for like a decade or something, right?
Like, not for blowing it for a very long time. Yeah. So it's like the craziest comeback as well. But anyway, there's enough about golf. People will get annoyed about it. But yeah, no, I'm kind of over like pushing myself, and I don't get the same enjoyment out of it. Like,
for work or for riding?
For riding.
Yeah.
For riding. Nothing to do with the videos. Like, if I scare myself shitless, I'm not like, wow, what an achievement. I'm just like, oh God, that could have really gone bad.
Dude, you're preaching to the choir. Like, I'm 40 years old. I've hit my head all the times, like I don't want to crash super hard anymore. I feel that and the other thing is the trails in Squamish are fairly challenging, relatively speaking. And I'm on a different bike every other ride. So a lot of times I'm going to a trail and I'm nervous because I'm like, what is this bike going to do? I don't know, and I know it is just riding bikes, but at the same time, they'll do stuff differently. They'll handle it a little differently and different tires on them. And
it must get annoying. It must get annoying. You must be like the best at just getting your bike set up to something rideable as fast as possible. Surely.
Pretty much. I feel like, like when a bike comes in, I build it and I can get it within, I could just get a bike ready to go and I make a couple little adjustments. And that's part of the job, is getting it pretty much ready to go and real quick.
So do you have like the same, like if it's a Fox fork or a RockShox fork, do you just have this? I know what settings I have for the fork, and then.
Yep. Generally speaking, like obviously there's different, like 36s of different travel, 34s of different travel and stuff. But I know like generally if I have a 160 mil 36, it takes this pressure and the adjustment. I have like a cheat sheet where my adjusters go, but then you get a bike that, like one bike with a 160 mil 36. I have one here that has 140 mils of travel on the back. And then I'm sure I have another one that has 160 mils on the back, and they have different angles and they're going to ride differently. So maybe that slacker one might need a little more air pressure in the fork, maybe a little less, but that's all fine tuning stuff. But yeah,
I would have thought it'd be less, wouldn't it? If it was, slacker.
Yeah. Either way, the point is it might be different, so
okay.
There is definitely some fine tuning and stuff for sure. Yeah. I used to be, when I used to work at the bike shop, I would get a bike and I swear it would take me months before I would start hitting things on the bike, like I'd be like, okay, I've had this Santa Cruz Bullet for 7 months. I think I'm ready to hit. And now I'm like, oh, I got a first ride on this bike. I better just send it. Yeah.
Oh man.
That probably explains some things.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like I remember I swear there was one thing where someone asked you a question in the comments, and it was like, "Hey, it was just like one quick, fast questions. It was like 8 of them in a row, and it was like, tell us what you really think, progressive or linear?" And you were like, linear, and you answered them all like just boom, 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 boom. Like, have your opinions changed as time's gone on?
Oh yeah, I mean your opinion.
Because you shoved your. I swear you used to say that you didn't like any tokens and forks, and then you just started shoving the plastic in.
No, I've never said anything. It totally depends. I've never said that specifically. I mean, here where I live here, I need to have all of like, I like short travel bikes. So my personal bike right now is a Mondraker F Podium with 100 mils on the back, 120 up front.
Oh, that's gross.
I know. Are you serious? Everybody else in Squamish is like, why are you riding that road bike here? But if you're gonna ride that on bike, Tuesday. Yeah, if you're gonna ride that bike here, it's fairly steep and rocky and stuff. Yeah, I mean my fork is full of plastic tokens. Yes. my spring is bottomless tokens.
My sack is what?
Yeah. 0. Yeah, if you have a 120 mil fork, that's the thing. Like I don't use sag numbers to set up a fork here. On the back, I use sag. Not much of it.
No, not much of it. Humble brag. No, I don't. Yeah, I think I don't know. I've changed. This is the first year where I've dialed in my suspension on every single bike that I own, and it's like a miracle.
What were you doing before? Were you just like getting on your bike and riding it?
No, so this is what I was doing before. Before I hung out with Ben Walker. Yeah, I was having my rebound too fast.
Yeah, everybody in the whole entire world has the rebound too fast, especially Mike Casimir.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Casimiro.
Not specifically him, but we are. That's one of the things we argue about. But everybody,
it's just so much better when it's slower. It's like it's so composed, so chill, predictable.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the big things for me is people push. They're not ridiculously slow. It's not too slow, but people push on my bikes, and they feel it rebound, and they're like, "Holy shit, that's super slow." But what it does for me is it does make a very predictable bike, and because I'm on a different bike every other week, guess what? I don't want to be surprised when I'm rolling into frickin' Britannia, like on my little downcountry bike. I want to be in control. Yeah, and not get bucked around everywhere. And the bikes don't have quite as much pop or whatever, but yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah,
all the pops pop comes from my legs and my arms,
Yeah, which are long. This is the other thing. This would be a great thing to mention in this podcast is how long your legs are.
So I'm 5'10" and I have a 47-inch inseam.
Which is
not really.
I've seen you point at your hip, and I'm like, no, that's the bottom of your rib cage. Do you not know basic anatomy? And it's not. It's where your hip actually is.
Yeah, I have longish legs and longish arms and a torso about 8 inches long.
Basically, you're a Ken doll, but just kind of blown up to human size.
Slightly less attractive.
Okay. Hey, wow, anyways. we did really far. I'm trying to Joe Rogan this. Do you know what I mean? We're just gonna like.
That's the way that it's
going to start all of a sudden. I'm going to record a separate intro because we have like a format on this show somehow. We barely do any episodes. I normally do one with this chap Shane, who's the crashing dad, who's one of my favorite people in the entire world.
That's nice.
But because I'm on the other side of the planet and he lives in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Oh, nice.
I imagine. Have you been there?
I have been there.
Have you ridden the?
Yes.
Oh, what's the?
I have.
Both of them. Called? The main one. With the one up from that. No, but I've also ridden that. It's the one that's got like the sand rock roll thing. They call it the toilet bowl.
I don't know.
Damn it, Shane's
I'm pretty sure I've been there.
It's got a big. Okay, it's got this slab on it, and you just pin it down there super fast. It goes on forever.
Sounds like Squamish.
No, it's nothing like Squamish because it's like flat out. They do races there and they do speed traps and they go like 50 miles an hour through this speed trap. That's how long this thing is.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I can't believe it's like up above Lunch Lubes if you carry on up the road.
Well, I would have been there for a press camp thing, so I would have just been following the people around. Wherever they took us, where I went.
Where am I going?
That's basically what we do. Go left here, everybody.
Oh, what's the? Can I ask this? You can just say no, but I'll probably leave it in because I'm pretty lazy to edit it.
Yeah.
But what you don't, obviously don't have to name and shame. But what's like the most ridiculous marketing thing that someone's tried to tell you, and you're just like, what? Like that kind of thing.
Well, they're all pretty ridiculous. Like you have the standout ones that come from Italy, right? Like the Pinarello. But I feel like they get a free pass because it's so amusing. I think the thing that gets me is it's probably all the stupid names for things. Like everything has to have a name. Like if a bike company designs, like they make the tubes a larger diameter to make something stiffer, they have to give it a name, like some sort of silly trade name, so that, I mean, obviously, like I understand why, because then people know what's going on, but it's just shut up. Just shut up. It doesn't need a fucking name. Like, I don't understand. I guess, yeah, but to be honest, I've always been like, even long before this job, I feel like I've always been like somewhat sensitive to like that marketing stuff. Like of commercials and that kind of crap. Like I've always hated that stuff. So I see it everywhere and it annoys me.
But you have to report it. Like you have to, you
report it. Yeah. You report it. Like I would say, so one example, the reason this example is in my head is because we just did the giant Trans X. And they use these silly names for their big tubes, like Megacore, Power Core, or something like that, you know? So
oh no,
Power Core. So you say it, but I can't do it seriously. That's the thing. Like in my mind, if I was reading this, I would want somebody to be telling me about it, but also making fun of it. Like, yes, the tubes are bigger and the front triangle might be stiffer, whatever, but who actually cares? It doesn't matter. Yeah. And it has a silly name to it that is a bullet point. And that has, they make it sound like they're curing cancer because the tube is stiffer. Like, yeah, not Giants specifically, but everybody, you know, like, yeah. It's
like, guys, give it a rest, please.
Dial it back, dogs. Dial it back.
Oh, hey, so I've actually prepared some questions. Do you know what? If I'm honest, I'm trying to like panic find the trail that I've ridden just to tell you what it was called, and I just the ribbon. That's what it was called.
I've heard saying that. Yeah, I've heard of that name. We're never gonna get to ride it again. I don't think though.
Oh, you don't think?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, have you seen that there's another new vaccine that's just come out today?
Well, let's not talk about Corona.
Okay,
I know I brought it up, but let's not talk about Corona.
You did.
I know.
We'll see.
My bad.
We definitely won't talk about the election in the States. So, because there we go.
They're busy down there arguing about which elderly man they want to run their country.
Poor them. Yeah. Okay, so one thing that I was gonna ask you about is like, do you think that the general public is bothered about where their reviews come from? Because I say this actually because of Shane, right? So let me tell you, can you remember ages ago, Vernon Felton did that video, Envy, and it was called, we were like, why are your wheels so expensive? That was pretty much
That's the video, not what it was called, but yeah, I remember that was good.
No, well, I titled it. I think it was called, Hey Envy, we have some questions. And then Vernon like pointing. Yeah. And I was like, this is the greatest thumbnail of all time. I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Okay. But, and Shane, it was actually Shane, before I knew him, before we became the best of friends, he commented below something about like the Santa Cruz wheels and how they were better because they were blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this guy doesn't know. Like this guy hasn't ridden both of them, but, and compared and done what, you guys do full time. And I was just like, but there are people like this all the time. You know what I mean? Like people will listen to, I don't know, like on retail stores. I do it. Like I just bought some new golf shoes and I was like, I want to see what other people have written. I didn't try and find like a review of the golf shoes. I just wanted to see people's experience. But like, and I get it all the time where people are like, oh, how much did they pay for that Pinkbike review? And I'm like, fuck you, guy. Like,
Yeah.
because when I was in ad sales, I would have had the easiest job in the world if I could have just freaking sold your opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I think they definitely do. There's so much to say about this. I hope I don't say anything too dumb. um, I think that they want somebody that they could be. Well, I would hope that they would want somebody that's relatable. Like you want somebody that you can read their review and you can understand what they're saying, and you know that it sort of makes sense, or that you could glean something from it. Maybe whether it's the terrain that's similar, or they ride a similar way to how the reviewer rides. But I think the big thing with a professional reviewer is just the experience. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for 12 or 13 years now, full time, I think. And the amount of bikes and the gear that I've been able to use during that time, and Kazimer and the other people that have been doing this for such a long time as well. It'd be a very different thing if you just start reviewing. I know everybody has to start reviewing somewhere if they're going to do it, but yeah, it's being able to compare it to all the stuff that you've ridden before and frame it properly. Yeah, in a relatable way. People, I don't want to, like, I read tons of car stuff, and I don't want to just read like, this car does 0 to 60 in X amount of, like, who cares? You know, I want to read a story about the guy driving the damn car. So yeah, I think that it's I think people do care. I would hope they care. Yeah, whether they like what I do or not. I mean, I just hope that, I mean, the people probably have somebody they listen to. It's whether it's me or not. Somebody out there probably listens to Kazimer. One or two people.
one person does.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's why, you know, you lot getting involved with videos is probably going to make you more believable, because you can see someone's face and you can hear them talk, and people are 100% more believable, I think, when you're just talking to them like a normal person.
I think the word is relatable.
Sorry, not believable. That's the wrong word. Trusting. You have trust in someone when you have more of a connection to them.
And I think, but that, even the trust like, we're not looking for trust. Like, I'm not trying to convince anybody.
You must be looking for trust in your opinion, though.
No, I don't ever think about it that way. No.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, like, I'm just like going to ride the bike, and then we have, like, I have the talking points that I need to talk about, and I hit on those and I say what I need to say, and I just try to make it. I just want to talk to my broski when I'm talking about reviewing this bike. That's all we do. That's all you should be doing.
Yeah. That's it. You know, I think there's so much, like, I do wonder why people buy the bikes that they do. And
sometimes, dude.
I know, right? Yeah, it's also like, so why doing, I mean, I don't expect you to keep up with all my videos. That would be absurd. But like, what I'm doing, oh, thanks. I've missed all of them. No, it wasn't one. It was all of them. But like, so what I'm doing now is, like, I've actually been doing this for quite a while, and I've spoken to some of the people that know way more about me, and I've kind of collected all this information, and I just want to help people, like, understand things a bit better. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing now. So this one video I shot a few weeks ago I've done a couple of them now, but helping someone down their first black trail. So they've never ridden a black red trail. And it all starts off with me just like looking at their bike setup. And sure enough, it's like there's no rebound on the fork. The rebound's wound all the way in on the back, and that's how they've been riding it. Do you know what I mean? Go on.
Dude. Okay, so go to the trailhead on a Saturday at 10 a.m. There's 70 people there. How many of those people do you think check their tire pressure before they went riding? The most important thing. It's literally like, it's what's between you and the ground.
Yeah. It's how you get punches. It's how you get punches.
Yeah. Or if, the bike handles like ass, if you don't have enough, or if you have too much. I don't know. I live by a digital pressure gauge, and I think that's like the first step. And part of that, obviously, because I'm riding all these different bikes, I do need to check all the time. And I do need to make sure that, the tires on my XC bike are at this pressure, because if they're at that pressure, something bad will happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that they don't need to be. It's not like a shame thing. It's just People,
It
a
would
lot
make
of
their
people,
lives so much better. It would
they make the
their
ride
riding
better.
day so much better.
Like,
Yeah, 100%.
you're literally 20 psi off in your fork, bro. Like, dude,
Yeah,
life
yeah.
will change a lot if you just set
Yeah.
it up.
But that's the thing. But it doesn't take that much. But I just wonder where this gap of knowledge happens. Like, is it the
I don't
shop?
think
Because
it's not a
people at
gap
the
of
shop are
knowledge.
just-
It's not a
Well,
gap
no,
of
okay.
knowledge.
Sorry, I should say a gap in communication.
It's not that either. It's a gap of caring. It's a gap of caring, Paul, because it's not. I don't think people forget. I don't think they're like you grab your bike. Like let's talk about like your car. How many weeks do you go when you're like, oh, I need to check the tire pressure in my car?
Oh, so many.
I'll do it next
So
time.
many.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll do it next time. I'll do it next time. And meanwhile, you're driving around with 10 psi in it because your car is your car. Like, you're going to drive it somewhere. You're going to get out of it. You're going to drive it home. You're going to get out of it, park it, and not think about it. And when the bike isn't the most important thing or super important, or maybe the ride it's just a casual, like you're just going for a bike ride. It doesn't have to be like you don't live and die mountain biking. So a lot of times people aren't thinking about that, their air pressure and stuff, and it makes a difference.
I mean, I can. I mean, I can't even find the words because I wouldn't leave the house without. I don't think in the last 2 years there's maybe one instance where I've gone for a ride and not checked my tire pressure. It's been that ridiculous. But people go on at me all the time, and they're like, "Oh, yes, no." I'm like, I don't want a puncture. Yeah. I haven't had a puncture for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I could say that. But yeah, I mean, I have a cardboard box in the garage in my shop, and I think it has 8 or 9 Topeak digital pressure gauges in it. And those are like, we'll give a few of those out to people who should be checking their tire pressure, friends of mine, but like that's like my stash of things that it's going to last me years,
Yeah. No, that came up when I went and rode with these two people. One of them said, "Oh yeah, I checked it last night," and I was like, "Oh, what did you think it was?" And he's like 23. I was like, "Okay, let's check it now," and it was 17. I was like,
exactly.
Okay. Like,
do you know the difference? Like, that's the difference between having like the worst ride or the best ride. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm adjusting my pressure all the time. Like, especially on, there's climbing trails that I like, climbing loops that I like, where like if it's wet, I'm dropping my tire, depending on the rim and tire pressure, I'm dropping it down to 17 psi. But if it's dry, I can't. On the same trail, I need 21. Otherwise, I'm just going to pull the tires off the rims. Yeah.
And someone listening just then, like, probably spat out whatever food they're eating at the time of day. Right. Like, 17, 21, that's no difference. It's like, that's 20%. That's 20% different.
I am not doing the math, but I believe you.
It's pretty, let's call it 20%. And I always say, like, would you want to get paid 20% more? And they're like, probably. Yeah. So 20% is a decent, 20% is a decent gap.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm probably making a bigger deal about it than it is, because we're using different tires all the time. And
I think this is completely reasonable.
But if you don't care about tech, Paul, most people, I think the majority of people, they don't ride mainly for the techs. Like, they're riding for social reasons. So it's not like.
Here's the thing: you care about those, and these are but okay, the general they care about those, and all those situations are causalities of not knowing your tire pressure. Like, oh, it's annoying when someone gets a flat tire. That has probably, it's annoying when someone breaks their wheel because they've hit a massive rock. They've got no air pressure in their tire and they've broken their rim.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, I broke a rim just a couple months ago because I didn't have enough air pressure in the tire. So
yeah. And I don't know. I just think, but I think the kind of the not caring, it comes from various different areas, and I think some of it is when you have that friend that tells them not to care about it. Do you know what I mean? They're like, oh, just whatever, just get on your bike and don't care about it.
There are also the people that, like, their bike is probably in shit shape, and maybe their house or their car is in shit shape too. Like, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's like, that's not their priority. They probably got other things going on in their life, and maybe they don't have time to look after, this silly mountain bike or whatever, you know? I don't know. Everybody's got their own different thing.
Yeah.
Try to backpedal now.
That is no, just it's balanced. You're just being balanced right now. You're presenting both sides, so it's BBC fair.
Yes,
But
BBC
no,
fair.
that's something I'm trying to change. I think these videos are going to be really good, but look out for them. They're going to be ages.
Good.
I don't have a regular schedule now with my biking videos. I think it's actually
You got
better.
tired of that bullshit, didn't you? You got tired of being like every ride being work?
No. Honestly, when I was doing, I could go and crush a video in a day.
No.
And like that job's a good one. Like easy.
I'm jealous.
Well, you have to do the presenting. Like how many are you getting? How many takes? I mean, I know it's impossible to answer this, but like when you're doing like a monologue to the camera,
Mhm.
are you one hit wonder, or does it take a few goes? Because it takes me a few goes. Even now, I've been doing it so long.
I feel like I'm relatively decent on camera.
You are. Can I just say, you are exceptional on camera.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
You need to, and the podcast that you've been doing, you are I can't even say it now. Very good.
Exceptional. Thank you so much, Paul. Because I tell you, it in the moment, it never feels like that. Everybody, it's like
no, you're so good. You're
Thank
so
you, dude.
good, and I think it's because you're a fan of podcasts, aren't you?
that's all I do. Like when I walk, I listen to podcasts all the
And
time.
it
I just
shows.
want to hear
It
people. Yeah, I just want to hear people's opinions and stuff. People are really interesting. So, yeah. But what was your question?
I can't remember.
Your praise.
Oh, how many times? How many times is it? Like, how does it take a long time to film your monologues to the camera? Like, is that what's taking
You
a lot
make
of
it sound
time?
like I'm like a crazy, like the Unabomber.
That's what they're called. They're called monologues.
Everybody has too much travel. Sometimes it goes like, Max. Sometimes Max is my filmer usually, and Tom, and sometimes we do it in one take, and we're like, damn, okay, well maybe we'll just get another one just in case. But other times, dude, it's like other times we will take all day to film like a 4-minute video. Sometimes it just doesn't click, and sometimes it does. Yeah. I think the key is to just talk with your broski. Like you're just like talking to your buddy.
Oh yeah. What was your hardest one that you filmed?
Oh, the efficiency test for the field tests. You don't even understand the difficulty involved with that, Paul.
No, I do,
It's
because
frustration.
I Swift, I know numbers, and then I see the numbers that you have to do, then the amount of times that you had to do it.
It's not even that though. It's not even the effort. Like it's hard effort, but it's hard. Like it's tiring, but I'm dealing with like, we're using some sort of power meter. We were using SRM pedals and we're using Garmin pedals. And then we have a computer and like all the tech stuff. And then we have 2 filmers, a photographer. We got one of them is probably using a drone. We have to get everything lined up. And then I need to do the test while it's happening.
Can't you just go back and stage it? That's what
we
I
don't
would
stage
do.
anything. It's all real.
Yeah, but pedaling up a gravel road, like, come on.
No, but we need the
You can
reaction.
stage that.
That's the thing. Like I need to get up to the top of the hill. We just filmed this last week. We filmed the one for the trail and the enduro bikes. And it went
we did an efficiency test on those.
the second one. So we got to do them on all the bikes. So from now on, field test, all of our bikes will do an impossible climb. They'll do a huck to flat, and they'll do an efficiency test.
Yeah.
Moving forward. So yeah.
Are you going to do an impossible descent? That's like,
We're talking about it.
thought about it.
We've thought about it. I mean,
Kaz can do that. Kaz can do that.
Yeah,
He needs
Kaz can
something
do that one.
difficult to do.
The goal is to make it entertaining, but also learn something from it. Like we know these things are bro-y science stuff, like the efficiency tests, like we're not in Germany in a lab. So the goal is to make it amusing and entertaining. I want people to want to watch it. Like if I want to watch it, somebody probably wants to watch it. So, and also to learn something. Yeah.
No, I think the secret of the cross country test, even though it's probably not the bikes that are popular or whatever on the site, but you and Sarah as a combo,
wasn't Sarah
incredible?
Sarah was awesome. Sarah, I have to say that Sarah Casimir, you're fired. Sarah was fucking awesome on camera. It was great.
It's
We
like,
had
I'll be
it was
honest.
like a good
Yeah,
back
it's
and
not
forth.
Kaz's thing. Kaz, like, he's not that kind of person.
Kaz is great on camera too.
He's done really well, because when I first did stuff with him, I was like, this guy does not want to be here at all.
Well, Kaz is just more a little more subdued than me. Exactly. I feel like, but when Kaz and I are on camera together, it's amazing. I love it. I love having Kaz with me on camera.
I don't want to take credit for this, but definitely the Mike versus Mike thing. When you got the bikes involved, I was like, yes, because I always said it. I always been like, guys, you have to get bikes and you have to ride them together and you have to argue about the bikes on the trail. And then you did it. I was like, this works so well. Yeah,
we want to do way more of those, but with the border closed.
He's stuck. He can't fly in. He can't fly in and just quarantine. And
he can, but I think he can. But then he has to quarantine for 2 weeks. Which, I mean, maybe I should go there. I'd quarantine. I don't care.
I don't think you have to quarantine when you go to the States. I don't think.
I mean, you're supposed to, or especially when you come back.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying when you come back into Canada. But I think America's got it so bad right now that it's just like whatever.
Well, I think it would be in your best interest to quarantine when you're down there. Then, like, if I went down there, I would only. I don't want to talk about Corona, Paul. Fucking Corona.
We're just trying to make bike videos. Find ways to make bike videos happen. But no, I think I knew Sarah was amazing on camera when we did this video where she got a canyon in, and I was like, oh, we should, if you can build up this bike, like this would be a good video to have. And she was amazing. And
she's so positive in her energy.
Oh God, yeah.
Like she makes me not be a grumpy piece of shit, you know? Like it brings out a little more like energy and positivity. I like it.
And she's still positive, even when she's having like a bit of a, like when we did the BC bike race, we hung around a bunch. And I could just tell, like, even she was getting tired and she was like having jabs at me. And I was like, Sarah, this isn't you.
Yeah, it's not her. She must have been really tired.
Oh, we were fricked.
Did you like the BC bike race?
When it got to Powell River, my opinion on it changed quite dramatically.
What? The only answer is yes, a lot. What's wrong with you?
When we got to Powell, I was like the first 2 days of trail. First 2 days? Yeah, first 2 days of trails in... no, first 3 days. 2.5 technically. Cumberland and the other bit, Cowichan Bay. Mm-hmm. I was like, this is great. I can do this for sure. And then Powell River, I was like, it just got really, really flat, guys. And there was one good trail.
Mountain biking. You just still do it though. It's just pedaling. You just keep pedaling. It's a race, Paul.
Dude, and then the 2 long days, I was over it. Yeah. I was like, fuck this. I was just
that's part of it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you got to take the rough with the smooth.
So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this. So you were like, I'm tired, I'm over it. When you finished, how did you feel? Did you cry a little bit?
It was such an anticlimax.
Really?
Honestly.
Oh geez. I mean, I've done it a bunch, and every time I finish, I almost cry.
No, because I broke.
I'd have enjoyed it.
When I snapped my derailleur hanger, and I walked 20 kilometers because I was so stuck.
I did it in Squamish, except I got a flat tire and I took my rear wheel out, and then I was missing an O-ring to hold on my axle end cap for the rear wheel, and I took my rear wheel off. My fucking free hub fell off.
What?
Yeah, with a cassette attached to it in the forest in Squamish.
Like a rubber seal.
Yeah, so the O-rings, there's O-rings inside your axle end caps, and all they do, it's just an interference fit. So they just hold everything together. And at some point, I lost this stupid O-ring. So then I had a flat tire. I take the rear wheel out, and there's no O-ring on this axle end cap. So my cassette and free hub fall off into the dirt, and I lose a pawl. No, I think I lost 2 of the 3 pawls. Something like that. So I put it back together, and I can't pedal. So I had to just skate. You know when you like put your right foot on the left pedal?
I know. Don't you worry. I know.
20K out of the Squamish bush in the BC bike race.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's savage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was over it. And do you know what? I now have PTSD from people asking me if everything's okay.
Everything is not okay.
When 200, I figured it out, like, I think I dropped like 200 places walking. And every time someone came past, is everything okay? I'm like in tears because I'm so tired. And
You're just being nice mountain bikers,
so hard. Yeah, I know.
That's why I'm not a nice mountain biker. I don't ask. Just go.
Yeah, please. Like, if anyone passes me on the trail, please just ride past. Assume I'm fine. If I'm really bad, then just let me die, because that's how I want to go.
Years ago, I had a buddy who we both did the Testa Medal here in Squamish, which is like a 60 or 70 kilometer long cross country race. Lots of fire road, but I like it. Classic kind of thing. And he was stepping on my balls. He was way ahead of me. Like, he must have been 10 or 15 minutes ahead of me. And we were, there was like only half an hour left. And apparently he was standing on the side of the trail with a flat tire, and he had forgotten to put a pump on his bike. And he said, "Mike, hey." And I was so tired. Like, I have a pump and tubes and everything. This is like a good buddy of mine. There was nobody else around, and I looked through him and rode. That's the mind state I was in, and rode right past him. And I didn't give my buddy this only needed what I could have just thrown my pump to him and kept going. Yeah. I felt bad. Yeah. I looked like a dick, but I beat him. He never caught me. Suck it, Scott.
Oh, man. And like, what did he say to you afterwards? Because he must have been like, Mike,
I think he was kind of ticked. I think he was a little ticked. Yeah, because I mean, it definitely looked like but I didn't see him. I mean, I think my legs were probably locking up and my eyes were crossed, and yeah, whatever.
Pure coincidence that I was just flipping him off as I was riding by.
And also yelling, "Fuck you, Scott! I'm gonna beat you now!" I love cross country racing. It's amazing.
Oh man. That's how you are, though, isn't it? Like, I remember when you actually appeared in one of those random videos of mine, and it was just like,
I did?
It captured the moments, what it's like riding with you. Because
which video was it?
Remember when my buddy Paul came? Wilson.
Paul Wilson.
Do you remember Wilson?
He came. I remember Wilson. Yeah. And we took him up to those slabs. It was like his first time here from the UK, and you're like, "I'm gonna take this guy to some sketchy ass slabs." Yeah, I remember that.
Like, here's the thing: Wilson is one of those people that doesn't care about his bike, and I've been over it. I used to live with him. He's the best housemate I've ever had in my life. We never argued. We lived together for like 9 months.
Wilson, get your shit together. Do you think he's?
I think he does now. He's just got a new transition.
Wilson, take care of it.
Come on, but he turned up, and like he does this thing where he comes on the riding trip and then sorts out his bike on day one, and you're like, and his brakes were fucked, and they were so shit.
This is not the place.
No, and I was like, all right, mate,
not the place. Not the place. Yeah.
In fact, he landed. Get this, he landed, and another mate of mine, Sam. And they just unpacked to my house, and they were like, "Let's go riding." Like, they just arrived, but they wanted to go for a ride.
That's not how I do it. I'm a little more casual than that.
Oh, I know.
These days.
I have never, and I will never do it like that.
Yeah.
But when you're out on the trail, and you just every time you crush me on whatever, and I just hear this, Paul, you just shout. You shout at me the entire time.
Let's fucking get a move on. Let's go.
But it's
fucking go skidding.
One of my favorite moments, and sometimes I go back and watch it because it just makes me laugh so much, is we're on bony elbows, and you don't go to the big slab line. You just ran straight down, and I'm like, Mike, you've gone the wrong way, and you just hear this like, I did. Oh, I did. Fuck.
Did I come back up? I don't remember that.
No, you did. And then you just rode down it like so fast, and I thought you were going to die, but you didn't.
I probably was close to dying. That's generally the gist of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, so here's a question. It's kind of serious now. This might be the clickbait. We have a thing where we choose the clickbait. We don't actually talk about mountain biking normally on this thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
we
then
can talk about whatever.
And then like 55 minutes in, we just spend like 5 minutes talking about the title of the video, because that's the thing. So like, let's talk about this. Bike industry has just got paid, hasn't it? Like, how bikes are sold out, bike shops so busy. There's more people than ever taking part in mountain biking. Like, what's like the have you heard the rumors about lead times on manufacturing?
Yeah, I mean, the Corona thing kind of just surprised everybody, and everybody, I think people
Well, it's
reacted
individual sports, individual activities, because golf is actually the same thing, funny enough.
like you right
Like,
now. If you walk into a golf store to get your golf clubs
mhm.
tuned up, they'd be like, "Oh, it's going to be a month wait for that golf club tune up."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Carl actually bought some new ones, and his wait was like 2 months or something
for golf
for some.
clubs, they're just sticks with little things on the end of them. I don't
Oh,
understand.
no, but it's more like the participation, like tea times,
Yeah.
like trying to
Oh,
get
busy.
actually a
Yeah.
slot. It's so
Yeah.
busy. But
It's
like,
amazing to see. It's here in the city in Vancouver when everything was shut down. Wasn't it amazing to see like everybody, the roads were shut down and people were just walking around, and it was the middle of the day, and there would be everybody just like sitting in the park and like just enjoying outside and not being rushed like everybody's supposed to be. Like people are just outside like they're supposed to be, enjoying outside, not
yeah,
inside working
at a laptop.
at a laptop.
It's totally true, but like I think now it's almost like this. So I've heard things like if you want to get some suspension made by Suntour, please wait 400 days for your order to come in.
Yeah,
Which it's crazy. Like
no,
and
I
the
mean,
other
that's
ones I've heard are
business.
nuts. I know, but like
Yeah.
I don't think the bike industry has the confidence in itself right now. That's
No,
that's
it's got.
what
I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's livelihoods. It's at some point, somebody has to say, well, we're at X company. Like, let's just pick like Santa Cruz. Somebody at Santa Cruz has to say, do we want these thousands of carbon frames to be made when all this crazy stuff is going on? Should we do this? Well, and they don't know 3 months from now or 4 months from now if everybody is going to be even allowed to be outside. So I can understand like there's sports stores that made the wrong decision, and you walk into them and they're empty. And there are other places that you walk into and they're packed. But on the other hand, I mean, that's a good business leader. I don't know anything about business, so I'm going to talk out of my ass for a minute here, everybody. But
that's exactly what you should do. Obviously.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you look back at the recessions, people, they stop buying things like televisions and cars and stuff like that. I mean, I was working at a bike shop. We went through 2 big recessions, and the bike shop didn't slow down. People still, they want to enjoy being outside, and they're coming in and buying a bike for their kid. Maybe it's their like a run bike for their kid or something, because they're like, well, I can't work. But people still want to do things that are important to them. And thank God not watching television is important to people still, and being outside, but as far as lead times on things, I don't think it's as simple as people not having confidence. It's people are making decisions about their livelihoods that are going to affect businesses, like businesses stay in business or businesses not stay in business. So some people made the right call, some people didn't, but I'm not going to pretend to know what the right call is.
Okay, here's my opinion on it is that like there's been biking booms before, right? There's been like whatever in the 90s or whatever, but like now it's different because bikes are good. Pretty much every bike
I don't
out
think
there.
it's different.
But I think
disagree with
listen.
you? Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah,
I'll stop.
at the end. For fuck's sake, Mike.
Paul has the
So-
conch. Paul has the conch right now.
You know what the funny thing is that people normally complain that I talk too much on this podcast.
I
It's
talk
like
way
the
too
one-
much. I'm always
know.
interrupting people. I'm terrible.
Now we've got this balance. I just like Shane can listen to this and be like, okay, I know how to do it now.
Yeah.
So it's I think bikes are better than they've ever been. Even things like the brakes work. Tires don't get as much flats as whatever. You know what I mean? Like dropper posts, all this stuff. Like bikes are very easy to ride now. And not only that, but the infrastructure, like there's trail forks, obviously, but like there's lots of other people doing it. So like there's places for people to go to ride. There's like resources like Pinkbike or YouTube or whatever to like learn more about it. Like if someone started biking today, all the tools are available for them to actually fall in love with it and carry on doing it. And that's why I think that it's not just people are going to buy a bike and then sell it in 2 months because they got bored of it. I think it's actually started, and now people are going to carry on doing it, and there's going to be more mountain bikers than ever.
So your argument is that because bikes are better and because of things like ride maps and being able to ride easier, more trail centers, the sport is growing because
it's going to sustain the growth that's just happened here, because there's no barriers to entry, or there's far fewer barriers to entry for people to have fun.
I mean, I would agree. Definitely, more people are riding now. It certainly looks that way. I don't think that all of those people are going to stick with it. You know, we all try something and then we're like, man, this isn't for me. But yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, I mean, the bikes are better, and if the bikes are working better and you're getting less flat tires and the bikes are less shitty, and you could go out and you could spend $1,500 on a kick-ass mountain bike. It's crazy how good they are now, hey?
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Is it you? Is it me? It's the Joey of the week.
Mike, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Joey of the Week, where everyone shares their Joey moments with the listeners. And we start with ourselves and then delve into the comments that we've received in our last podcast. So if you're listening right now, please pop down to the comment section on our YouTube channel and share your Joey moment. I will go with mine. Mine's kind of a Joey moment that has yet to happen, really, because I haven't ridden for so long now, because I've been quarantined in the UK, and then I was just doing so much stuff before I left, and the weather was shitty. However, Mike, I have to switch my pedal type. So for next year, I have to ride Shimano pedals, and I've been using
sponsor obligations.
It is now, it's my job. And it's been 7 years on Crank Brothers. So I've got them set up. Tomorrow, I'm just going to spend all day learning how to use my pedal system. So I foresee lots of Joey moments. I'm just trying to do it so it doesn't annoy people on a bike ride. Because I have typically been quite an annoyance to ride with for this kind of reason.
Hey, your words, not mine, Paul.
Oh yeah, you've experienced it. And I'm just so good now. Mike, I'm so good. Like, my bike is fine, everything.
Well, we'll have to go for some more rides when you get back.
Oh yeah, with my new skill pedals on Shimano SVD system.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be fine. It was just like riding a bike. Anyway, can you think of a Joey moment that you've done? It's kind of when you've just been stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Which one? Which one do you want, Paul?
The one you feel most comfortable sharing.
So for the field test, we had to install Cushcore inserts for the Huck to Flat. 20 of them.
Front and rear, or just the rear?
Front and rear. So they were 40. On all.
No, there's 10 bikes.
There's 10 bikes. So 20 inserts, and we had some help, Max and Jason and Alex and stuff. But it's still like, they're not easy to put in. You know, they're not impossible, but they're not easy. But after you do a few, you're like, oh man, I mean, maybe I could just use this tire lever, just like pry this tire bead up and over, like AKA like lazy shop rat using a tire lever to install a tire. So anyway, isn't that
what you're meant to do?
No,
though?
You always
put a Cushcore butt plug thing.
Yeah, there are the Cushcore butt plugs for sure, but I was using a tire lever. You know, when a tire is so tight that you end up just like resorting to a tire lever to get the bead back on the rim, even though you should never use a tire lever to install a tire, only to remove a tire. Well, I installed a bunch of Cushcores, and it turns out I accidentally cut the rim tape with the tire lever. So then I had to take the tire back off and the Cushcore back off, none of which is easy.
And there's sealant everywhere.
Yeah, there was a bit of sealant everywhere and stuff. And I mean, it wasn't just one. We did 20 Cushcores, and I had to redo a bunch. I was frustrated.
Oh, it was more than one.
Yeah, I did a few. Yeah.
Oh, that is a true.
My excuse though is that we had to change so many tires. So we have to change all those tires to begin with. Shout out to Alex for helping me with that. Or maybe he just did them all, actually.
Wait, is that Alex Hingston?
Yeah.
Alex
Young.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
but so we already changed all these tires, and then we had to take them all off again because we didn't do all of the testing with the cush core on. Of course, we wanted the cush core on for the huck to flat. So then we had to take the tires back off. So it was this frustrating thing. And I tried to cut corners, use tire levers. And you know what happens when you cut corners? You got to do the job again. That's what happens.
I was going to say you save time, but that was the wrong answer.
Not that particular time. No.
You know, if you get, the blue Park Tool tire levers, though, they make that job very easy using the tire levers to put them on because they're very stubby.
But the rule is
no,
you should just know levers.
So I had Michelin's this year because they just gave me a whole bunch for free. And
maybe levers with those.
Yeah, but now I wonder if it was actually the rim because I've also just got some Kenders to try, and they were equally as impossible. And I was like, maybe it's the wheels.
Yeah, with most carbon wheels are fine. Like a mold, they're molded to a very specific shape and it doesn't change. But sometimes I find with aluminum wheels, sometimes they're less consistent. But yeah, some are harder than others. And ideally you don't ever want to be using, that's like a silly bike shop rule. I was a mechanic for a long time. So like, it's just like a silly made up bike mechanic rule that you would never use a tire lever to install.
Just an ego. It's just an ego thing, isn't it?
I would rather peel the skin off my thumbs than use a tire lever.
All right. Okay, let's right. So we're going to delve into this document now. We'll take it in turns reading out the Joes of the week, and then we'll choose a winner. We'll choose a winner at the end. Okay. So, but the first one I'm going to tell you is something that you will completely understand because it's the most insane thing, and I have seen the video. Unfortunately, I didn't queue up the video in time, but I'll send it to you another time. Basically, this guy tells us that he was riding down In-N-Out Burger in Squamish, a very steep thing. And basically he crashes so hard that he breaks his front fork, breaks his arm, just like has the worst time ever. Right.
Not good.
So Dean has given us an update. And listen to this. Update on all the aftermath. That was actually June 21st this year. After I broke the fork and that was it. He broke his balls and he hit his balls so hard that the pain eclipsed a broken arm.
Well, I can understand that.
It's crazy. Okay, so anyway, so he snapped his fork on his bike, smashed his balls, broke his arm, and his friend had to carry the bike out. Oh, he had to carry his bike out with one good arm. They made it to the road, drove to the Squamish hospital, although by then my balls were almost back to normal, so all good there. And then I found out about the broken arm and I was pretty bummed. I actually do have a video of it, but unfortunately you can kind of see it in darkness. I do remember this. Yeah, so basically he had the video of it. I'll show you the timestamp of it. It's insane. I'll even put a link in the description for those watching. It's gnarly. But yeah, Dean was a pretty epic. I wouldn't say that's Joey of the week. I was just like, I'm glad you're alive. That's
Dean. How are your balls? I'm glad your balls are okay.
It's a while ago now. We don't.
I wonder if he was wearing a chamois. I hope so. Chamois.
I hope nothing leaked. I hope nothing leaked out of it. Okay. Anyway, can you see? Isaiah Goldstein.
Yeah, Isaiah Goldstein. He wants to nominate his friend for Joey of the Week. Oh, his friend's name is actually Joey, everybody, which, I mean, is it fate? It works out perfect. He goes out of his way to buy full-on Lycra to the dirt jumps 10 minutes from his house. He always forgets to lower his seat and never brings a multi-tool, but he's a really awesome dude and rider nonetheless. I think we all know a Joey like that. I think an actual Joey, a literal Joey, and a metaphorical Joey.
Yeah, putting Lycra under the shorts to go to some jumps is probably a bit much.
No, it's definitely not.
But yeah, no, you don't need to sit down. You don't need to sit down when you're going to the jumps. When was the last time you went to the jumps?
You don't understand how it works though, Paul. So you're standing up, you do your silly jumps, you do your silly bike tricks, and then you're landing, you're using your seat, but your chamois is not just there for comfort, it also holds your coin purse up against your body so you don't accidentally sit on the coins and squish a coin.
For those listening, coins are a euphemism. It's not actually coins.
But Joey should definitely bring a multi-tool. I fucking hate people that don't bring a multi-tool on every bike ride. You need to be prepared. Get a little multi-tool. They weigh nothing. You put it in some pocket or something, or strap it to your bike, and then when something goes wrong, you could fix it. I don't know why you wouldn't. What's wrong with you people?
Or you can just get a one-up tool and you don't even have to think about it. Or you don't even have to think about it crashing. Oh, also, they've announced the new one, the EDC Lite, actually. I just noticed this. It's on Pinkbike.
Oh, really? Pinkbike.
Yeah.
I should go there sometime and read about it.
Pinkbike.com.
Pinknot.org?
Oh, yeah. No, you've seen that one, haven't you? The new one?
I have not yet. I'm on holidays currently, so I am not going to Pinkbike.com too often. Too long didn't read. It's just the tool itself, and you just like smash down the star nut further, and then you just pop it in. And it just rattles around in front of on top of the star nut.
No, no. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I went and made a video, but I can't release the video because there's something else that has to be part of it that's embargoed. Anyway, okay. Octodad. Octodad is a regular, Mike. He's an Octo.
Does he have 8 kids?
3.
Oh,
it turns out. He actually says it in this thing. So he, Joey of the Week nomination. His wife, Octo Mum, says that he couldn't leave her and his 3 youngest children, who are 5, 7, and 8 years old, at home alone while he goes to Rotorua with one of his rich mates who doesn't have kids.
Why wouldn't the 8-year-old can watch the 2 younger ones? Or you could put the 5-year-old one in the bathroom and just close the door and like zip tie the cabinets shut.
Yeah, and you get one of those like pet feeders that you can release with a phone app. Job's a good one,
right?
Childcare with Mike Levy.
Maybe don't.
Okay, some of these I do kind of I copy and paste these in, unfortunately. So if they're tricky to read, it's someone's just been like brain dumping and I haven't corrected it. But I would just read it as the comment says, not like try and switch it into the third person, because it's impossible and you get lost. Just read it as the comment says.
Okay. So if I sound like I'm having trouble, it's Chris's fault, not mine. So Chris Rides Bike says, he says, so his wife and a buddy of theirs and himself.
You're turning into third person. Just read it as it's written.
But it's not written right. I have troubles with that. Okay. So my wife, a buddy of ours, and myself head out to our local trail system. When we show up, we see 4 guys looking at the trailhead map. They look completely lost. 2 of them still had reflectors on their bikes. Safety first. One guy didn't even have a saddle. Wait.
What?
He just had a seat post. Interesting.
Oh, there we go. That's the goal.
No actual seat to sit on. Seeing that they were clueless, I suggested they follow us around as we knew the trail. Sorry, but I would not suggest that, because that sounds like nothing but trouble. You're just going to end up fixing their shit. I suggested to the dude with no saddle that he sit this one out until he gets his bike fixed. It seems reasonable. He insisted that this is how he rides, and he'll just stand the whole time.
No.
Anyway, minutes into the ride, we have to cross a bridge. It's slightly muddy. The guy with no seat loses grip from his front wheel, spins out. Jersey gets caught on the metal on the saddle, gets slung over the side of the bridge into the swamp. He gets back up and makes the rest of the ride. But to this day, it's a story we tell over and over again. You hear stories about people that break their seats like during a race and they just finish the race standing up, like bosses. But to actually go on a bike ride without a seat,
to pre-break your saddle.
I have questions. For that person.
Like, is it stubbornness? Like, that's not the way. No, like, you can't say, oh, this is just the way I ride. That's not the way you ride.
Maybe he's training. So he needs to do some out of the saddle efforts. And he's a guy
but why leave
saddle all the time?
Why leave the seat post in? Like, that's the
motivation to stand up. It's motivation. Like, oh shit, I better stand up so that thing doesn't poke me.
It's just like that's next. And I don't even know where to say it. That actually reminds me of a story. When I was working in Queenstown, I saw this guy. He had like C-clipped a GoPro onto his stanchion, like halfway down his stanchion.
Fucking GoPros.
He put electrical tape around it. Obviously, he didn't want to scratch it. Put electrical tape around the seat.
Obviously.
And then put the C-clamp on. And I was there and I was just like, oh, hey, like, I was really nice about it, which is rare for me. But I was like, hey, like you could really break your fork, break your bike, have a bad day, you could crash. And he just he'd say, oh, I'm not doing anything hard. And I was like, yeah, but you'll still get it. And then he says, oh, I'm not riding very fast. And he flip-flopped between those two responses.
Yeah.
And then I just gave up.
But you know how, like, there are forks out there that if you let all the air out of them and you bottom them, they don't, like, the seal doesn't scrape, it doesn't go all the way to the fork crown. There's room at the...
No, Mike, it was halfway down the fork extension. Like, there was no... It was not a question of, oh, it might not hit that. It was going to.
Maybe he just runs his suspension really firm and he knows he's not going to use all that travel. He's like me.
He just
has a firm feel.
But he just kept saying these two answers. And I was like, you're going to break your, like, wow. I just couldn't get past the logic of it. But maybe this chap with the seat post has the same problem.
Maybe. So people need to use less GoPros anyway. So whatever.
Yeah. I think this is a clear cut race. Like, that guy is obviously my vote. No saddle guy for Joey of the week.
Yeah.
Without question. So congratulations, Chris Rides Bikes. That guy that you bumped into on the trail has won Jerry of the week. Congratulations.
No saddle Steve.
No saddle Steve. All right.
Perfect. Every town has somebody like that. Like, some people, like, every town has a guy that wears jean shorts and no chamois and destroys everybody on his single speed bike, or like some guy that goes about his thing just killing it and doesn't post about it on Instagram, or doesn't, some weirdo who's doing things a little differently. I love those people. No seat Steve, you're awesome, but I don't want to ride with you. I don't want the drama that'll come with that.
But you don't think it's gonna carry on like this?
Are you asking me if I think mountain biking is a mainstream sport now? Like, is it going to keep growing and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, I mean, e-bikes were definitely going to be a big part of that, or they're definitely going to be a big part of the sport growing. Mountain biking, it's not easy. Like, if you're going out there and you want to ride up the hills and do that kind of stuff as part of your mountain biking, which is what exactly you should be doing, it takes fitness, and you have to do it at a fairly regular basis. It's like surfing. Like, if you only surf once a year, you're never, not that I surf, but people tell me if you only surf once a year, you like, it's a sport you need to do, and probably like golf too. You need to do it fairly often in order to be able to have the most enjoyment out of it, right? Yeah. So if you only do it, once every few weeks, well, you're never going to get fit or strong. You might progress a little bit with the handling, but it is a sport you need to do a lot. So,
I think the difference is now that people would want to do it a lot.
Yeah.
Because there's flow trails with climbing routes, and uplift's obviously a bit suck it down or whatever, but like, so there's for the UK, right, there's this place, Bike Park Wales.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably heard of it in some way, round or about.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, you can turn up. I don't know what it is now. It used to be £6. Okay, you turn up, you park at the bottom, you're right next to the climbing trail, which is just a fire road all the way up. Might have changed now. You get to the top, there's loads of different options, from very easy all the way up.
You have to pay to ride?
Yeah, it's a bike park that takes...
But there's no chairlift? So what do you...
They have uplift services.
Oh, there are. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah. It's different. It's more than £6, but you can pay £6 just to turn up and ride. And
so you have to pay money to just show up and ride?
Costs money to look after bike trails,
I guess.
You pay your soccer fee. Like, true.
Exactly. Good point.
It all comes around. But like, I think it's completely legitimate, and people have no problem with it. People don't complain about it either.
It's different here,
Well, they still have this Whistler. People still pay to.
I don't go there very often.
I haven't
like,
been
I want to
once.
I want to get on my mountain bike and like go way out there. I don't. Yeah. I probably. Yeah, I mean, I could if the trails cost money. Yeah, I guess I would pay money to ride them, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but you've got to think like you've just bought a $1,500 full suspension bike, and you're like kind of new to the sport. As long as it's easy to do, you will, and the rate of return on enjoyment is still, positive,
Mhm.
then you're gonna keep doing it, and then you're gonna get over that bit where it's like, oh, this hill climb sucks, and all of a sudden it gets easier, and then
Yeah.
and I think that's the difference now, that there wasn't this 20 years ago. Like, crikey, you don't have to go on an internet forum to find someone that maybe is either going to murder you or you could actually become bike friends.
I met my first buddy through an internet. My first riding buddy through an internet forum.
Yeah, me too.
Paul.
Me too.
Paul Fernie. Shout out, Paul.
Shout out, Paul Fernie. But yeah, like that's the thing. It's so easy to do all this stuff now.
Well, that was 20 years ago, though.
But 20 now.
Now it's easier,
like,
I guess. Yeah.
so easy.
Yeah, I don't think the sport's ever going to be like a bit mainstream thing, though. I sort of hope it isn't.
But yeah, I know lots of people hope it isn't. But
Yeah.
it's like, what would it take for it to be mainstream now? Like, do you think?
Well, for everybody listening, if you came here to Squamish on a Saturday afternoon, it would look very, very mainstream.
It's super mainstream. Pseudo Suga. I'm going to go up. I'm going to do my half Nelson. I'm going to do Pseudo Suga. I'm going to go down, get an Alison Brome ice cream. Shout out. And then I'm going to go home. And I did mountain biking, and I'm going to tell people about it on a Monday.
Yeah. In our corner of the world, it's definitely mainstream.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. So there's Surrey, which is where I used to ride. Just outside London.
So. Oh, you're Surrey, because we have a Surrey too. And I was like, where do you ride in Surrey?
Do you know what? The Surrey here is the exact opposite of the Surrey in Vancouver.
Nice. That's probably good.
In every way, shape, and form. And the funny thing is, you almost take off from Surrey in the UK, and then you land in Surrey in Canada. It's like,
your Surrey doesn't have any crackheads and hookers then.
The exact opposite. It's where Brendan and Bernard and Ollie Wilkins go.
Country.
Like that area, if you've ever seen that stuff. But so I remember in 2007 I visited and went there, and there was one trail and there was me and this guy, and then like many years later, like when I came back from Whistler for the first time and I turned up, like car parks jam packed, you know what I mean, like everything is booming, and Lord knows what it's like now. I'm so interested to see what it's going to be like to go back there. But
I remember going to the mountain and I wouldn't see anybody.
Yeah.
Paul, when I started riding, I want to say that there was like multiple years where I was doing like 150 to 200 rides a year for multiple years by myself. Like there was nobody. And I was in a town of like 70,000 people and there was no mountain bikers. Maybe a couple, but they didn't want to ride with me, I guess.
But now the thing is that you do those 100, 200 rides a year by yourself. It's just that people keep asking to get with you.
That's true.
I'm good.
Yeah. I'll give you a call.
Yeah, see you up there. Oh, I'm already done.
I'm on test bikes. I don't want to ride with people usually, because I have to like do stuff and think about things and only ride certain things. And
do you know? I always try and keep anyone that comes off this from talking about gear. Do you know? That's so funny because like most of the time, if you talk about it, people just feel like when I was at the BC bike race, they did a podcast that was like, stay away from these bike brands. And I was like, why have you done that? Like, that's such a stupid topic.
Oh, for the podcast. Yeah, but that's something that people want to listen to probably like that. I mean,
what if you own one of those bikes that you've just spent your money on? You're like, but then
are you worried about hurting somebody's feelings? Who gives a shit?
I am worried about
maybe they shouldn't have bought that crappy bike. I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah. Hey, what interests you? So you must have got really over riding another horse link bike or whatever. And I've noticed that you've started riding as just the weird stuff, which I think you should do. Like this exists all across YouTube. Is that the more successful videos are just reviewing the weirdest stuff? Because Seth does that, right?
Yeah.
He review just stupid things. And I think you should do more of the riding the weird stuff. Is that what interests you right now? It's just like...
Yeah, I think you're right there. Like I get another bike in, it's, oh, sweet. It's 150 mil, link is driven single pivot with the 64.5 degree head angle and Maxxis tires and Fox suspension. And it's like, well, let me guess how this bike is going to work. They all are different though, and part of my job is to ride the bike and like kind of parse out those differences and talk about what it does well and what it does not so well. But yeah, I am obviously more interested in the less common things, you could say. But that's stuff that's fun to read about or to watch a video about. But the other argument, I guess, is like that structure bike was pretty freaking interesting and cool and really interesting to ride. But how many people are going to buy them? So am I really doing anybody a service for reviewing something like some strange homemade thing or a linkage bike that they're only going to sell 20 of? I don't know. Yeah.
But it's entertaining. And like that's what's wrong. And like that would get someone just interested in mountain biking anyway.
Possibly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I agree. I'm definitely going to ride more stuff. I got weird stuff here, Paul. Don't worry.
What is the last thing that you were genuinely excited to like go, oh, I actually can't wait to write this and then shoot the pictures and then write the words about it, write 3,000 words about this thing.
So the two things that come to mind, one is a mainstream thing and one is a smaller brand. The most excited thing, the thing that I was most excited about recently, to be honest, would probably be Axis. SRAM, like the Axis drivetrain. It just, I love that stuff. It's so cool. And then,
like, you may know I have allegiances to my sponsor Shimano, so I will not have an opinion on that thing. However, shifting under load is incredible. No, I haven't. No.
Oh, yeah. So I have opinions, and I'll say them because I don't have any allegiances.
That's your whole job. Is to not have
exactly. The latest Shimano stuff, like that shift, how you can shift under power, that Hyperglide Plus. Holy shit! Yeah. Like it
is next level. Like when
it's
I
crazy.
first did it, I was like, "Whoa! I will actually tell people about this because it's so many."
Yeah. So I mean, if I was going to buy a drivetrain, like I would have a hard time not getting a Dior drivetrain. Like even spending the extra on XT, I don't know if I care enough. Like. Because that Dior stuff.
The Dior stuff.
Yeah.
Is great.
I know the XT has extra release on the shifter, the multi-release thing or whatever.
No, it does have the two shift thing, doesn't it?
XT does, but I don't think Dior does. I don't know. But anyways, I think right now somebody's like, yes, it does. But either way, like that's so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's $600 for everything. 4-pot brakes. Like,
isn't the Dior stuff like 300?
Yeah, but I'm saying if you get a whole group set. So
yeah.
Shake, gives, and
you don't use Shimano brakes.
I think they're the best. Even I will say this, I will commit to this. Even if I wasn't Shimano, even if I wasn't sponsored by Shimano, from now on, I would probably only use Shimano because it's so easy to service.
Yeah, well, I've got probably 6 sets of Shimano brakes in the garage right now on different test bikes, and they all have bite points that change when you squeeze the lever. So I will disagree with that.
Hey, I can't. If you've experienced that, then you've experienced that, and I couldn't possibly say anything that's going to change that.
So everybody, Paul's going to edit this out. Don't let Paul edit this out.
I'm not.
Here. Okay.
I'm so lazy. I can't on these podcasts. My favorite thing is chop at one end, chop at the other end, and done.
Yeah. So for me, if you're not going to spend much money, if you want like an entry level or mid price drivetrain, the Shimano's hard to beat. But that Axis stuff is freaking like that. It's so cool. That wireless shit. I love it. Yeah. I don't know how we got on this topic.
No, neither do I. I know that's the mainstream thing. What's the weird thing you were?
Motion. So they sent it to me.
The suspension dyno stuff.
No. Well, it's that too. Yeah. So, are they?
Is this embargoed? Is this embargoed?
No, I know it's not embargoed because they sent it to me ages ago. So, Motion Innovations, is that what it is?
Yeah.
No, Motion Industries.
Yeah, it's the suspension dyno stuff, right?
Yeah, I feel like I should Google. Yeah. That stuff, Paul. I want to get their name right. Can you just give me a sec here? I want to Google their name.
No way. I can filibust because I'm pretty sure Cathro got sent one as well. Motion Innovation. Oh, furniture. It's probably not that. That's the first one I came up with my autocomplete on Google. But I do think, like, cause like that, like the Shock Whiz thing is pretty cool. But everyone chooses like firm and poppy for their suspension settings, and that's probably the wrong thing to do. So that should have filled the gap for you to have found the product you're trying to find. No, not yet.
Oh, I'm not good at Google's. Oh, motion
Hey.
instruments. It's motion instruments.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have you
I
tried
also yes, I have. Yeah. So I have that motion instruments data acquisition kit here, and I've had it here for ages. And we're gonna do this big video review on it. But I ended up having a giant crash and hurting myself and blah blah. And then we had to do some field test stuff. So we're gonna get back on that here pretty quick. But yeah, that stuff is really neat.
Is that when you landed on the multi-tool?
What's that?
Is that when you landed on the multi-tool?
No, that's when I ragdolled down a rock face at the top of Labor of Love.
Gross.
Yeah, it was. I was out for months. That was a bad crash.
The one with the little ladder bit on it.
Yeah, that's not where I crashed, but yeah.
No, I'm trying to figure out where you crashed because we've ridden that together. You rode the tall boy that when we rode it, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
"What the hell are you doing on this trail on the bike that you have?" This is
It worked great. Yeah, it worked great. So I had no issues there. I've ridden it lots. I love that trail, but so I use HT pedals because I never accidentally unclip. They keep my feet locked in really well.
and you buy them, don't you?
I just bought 3 pairs of HT pedals. I have 6 pairs of HT pedals on the go right now because they're so fragile. They break all the time. They're garbage. They just fall apart. But they're the only ones I could use. So like I would just keep them roll. Anyways, but the problem with HT is that the cleats sit a little proud of the bottom of the shoe. So when you're walking, your cleat hits the ground. And I was on a test bike. I was on the Structure, actually, a weird test bike. And I kind of like bobbled the front end, locked and dived. And something happened weird at the top of this rock face and I unclipped. And then I stepped on the HT cleat and my feet just slipped out from underneath me. And it was like a 50-foot thing down this fucking rock face. And then, so then I couldn't do the motion instruments stuff. But if you guys are listening, I apologize that I've had it so long and haven't done it yet. We're going to do something cool. It's coming.
Oh, very exciting.
There's one other thing too, Paul. Now that we're talking about weird stuff, it's the motion. Okay. We were talking about motion. It also reminded me, I also have that Motion France linkage fork that I've had. I haven't been able to ride it for the same reason. With the carbon leaf spring, that thing is cool. It's going to be awesome. I hope.
Ooh. You hope. Yeah, I feel like you just want the underdogs to win.
I do like that.
There must be a bit of this. Like you're like, oh, come on, be good. And then it's like, oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Everything will be better.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's like if we're talking about linkage forks, there's all sorts of good arguments for those things. They do make way more sense. But the problem is that RockShox and Fox and everybody else have had 200 years and a lot of money to develop their forks, and it's what people are used to now, and they do work really well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like my Pike is holding me back, you know?
Yeah. Okay, we'll finish on. So you once infamously, without really telling many people, rode this trail called Rupert, which is my favorite.
It's a fun trail.
You rode that trail. You loved it so much that you rode it 20 times in a day. What can you remember the stats? Can you remember the stats from it?
Well, it's 20 laps.
Yeah, but how long is it? How long a ride did you do?
I don't know. It was over I rode from home and back.
You rode from home as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
so it was over. It was over.
Way.
Yeah, I want to say it was almost 100K, and it was over 10,000 feet.
Oh,
I don't know what it was. Yeah, kilometers.
No. Feet elevation.
Yeah. Leave me alone. I do. But when I'm talking about cars, then I go to miles an hour, not kilometers an hour. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that kind of stuff.
So do you have like another biking goal that you want to achieve?
Lots. Yeah. What's
one that you can share?
Jeez, I don't know. Like we do all sorts of silly rides. Like we do our Vetter 10 grand ride. I missed it this year because I was hurt. But
Is that 10,000 feet?
yeah, but it's not everybody in Colorado right now is like, I do 10,000 feet every other ride. It's not a big deal. But the way that we do Vetter Mountain, the climbing is fairly steep and we do lots on moto trails and stuff. So it ends up being this ride where we start with like 15 people and like every year 2 people finish and you're just zombies and people are crying and yeah, it's
People, other people.
me. But I like those sort of adventures. So right now I'm riding, or I like gravel riding a lot. So I'm sort of in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about some of those sorts of adventures. But yeah, nothing specifically extra stupid, but I'm sure there will be some extra stupid things soon.
I quite like just riding another trail 20 times. Single track mind.
Yeah.
That could be a 20 goer.
Yeah, you got to pick them careful, like that climb to Rupert is really easy. They're just,
good point.
yeah, so you have to, it's like if you're going to do an Everest thing, you need to think about like the grade that you want. And I wouldn't just Everest up to, something that has a gnarly climb. You got to Everest up something super chill.
Yeah.
You should do something with me, Paul. Come out for a big adventure.
I don't know, maybe. I'm back on Zwift. I've just had my second day on Zwift again. But they got Mont Ventoux on there. Well, a climb like Mont Ventoux.
It's Alpe d'Huez.
No.
Or they added another one?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Nice. In the France region or whatever it is.
Okay.
But it's so boring.
No, it's not.
At least the Alpe d'Huez is like, switchback and things to look at on the screen. This thing is just a straight road.
I love Zwift. I can't wait to get on it. I've taken a little breather on bikes here for the past little bit, just to chill out a little bit, and then I'm gonna hit Zwift hard and win winter, and then burn myself out before spring comes.
You should do some racing, I think, on Zwift.
Yeah, I should.
But you have to wind it up to like 400 watts before it goes.
Sounds like breakfast, Paul. Easy.
That's so easy. Well, Mike, we'll call it there. But the thing is that there's this actually really big secret that no one knows about you, and I'm going to tell it right now. That secret is